There's an Easter story. It tells the story of two friends walking along a road. The light's failing, it's evening time, and they're talking in low voices and they're talking about everything that's happened. And the moment I read those sentences this year, that story resonates with me. I've lost track of the number of times I've been talking in a low voice about everything that's happened. Here at home, I've talked with my wife dozens and dozens of times about it. I've talked on the phone with friends, with family members. I've talked on FaceTime screens about everything that's going on in the world. And this year, that story really chimes with me. So in this story, as these two guys walk along, a stranger joins them, a third person. And as he begins talking with them, he says, why do you look so glum? What's going on? And they turn to him and their jaws drop, I think. And they say to him, are you the only person who has no idea what's going on in the world? Are you the only person who can't understand or has no comprehension about what's gone on and what all of this is about? And so the stranger says to them, well, tell me, what is going on? What is happening? What is this all about? And so they begin talking. And in the story, there seems to be something very therapeutic about the way that they talk, because as they talk, they open up. And again, when I hear that, I resonate with that. I resonate with that because there is something about being able to talk about what's happening that's really helping. The response of the stranger as they process and as they talk with him is a little unusual. Rather than him look downcast and join their emotions and mirror their emotions, he offers them an alternative. He begins talking to them in so many words about hope. He begins talking to them about the fact that God is still there for them, that God's purposes of love and of joy and of peace are still at work in all of this. And as they talk, the story says their hearts begin to set on fire. How much we could do with a bit of our hearts setting on fire at the moment, couldn't we? And that's what happens as the stranger talks to them. When they eventually arrive home, it's getting late, and hospitality in their culture was a big thing. You didn't leave a stranger walking down a dark road by themselves. And they said to him, would you like to come in and stay over with our family and have a meal? And the man says, yes, I'd love that. And so they go in. And I imagine they keep talking as the meal's being prepared. Come mealtime, as they sit round the table, there's a loaf of bread placed in the middle of the table, and they ask the man to say grace for them. And he leans forward, he picks up the bread, and as he breaks it, they suddenly realise whose presence they've been in. They're in the presence of Jesus himself. And they leap to their feet in joy, in wonderment and amazement. The story's mysterious. It says at that point Jesus just disappears from their sight. But they know he's with them in the middle of the story, and it makes a complete difference to the way they feel about things. And then it says they peg it back to Jerusalem. It's a good number of miles. They run all the way back to meet with their other friends and say, we've just seen Jesus. We know this is extraordinary, but we've just seen him. And they say to him, yeah, we know because we've seen him as well. This year I find that story brilliant. It's such a fantastic story, and it's really hard to recount it without a lump rising in my throat, because it's exactly what I need and exactly what we need. The message of Easter is a tremendous message of hope, and in this extraordinary story, hope and promise and hope of a bigger future is given to us. Jesus came and stood with his friends 2,000 years ago, and he's risen and he's standing amongst us now. And in the middle of our awful situations where we're recounting to one another with low voices everything that's happening, Jesus appears and he says to us, don't lose hope. God is bigger than this. Jesus' resurrection has unlocked the doors of death, of everything we're afraid of. And no matter what happens, he's going to be with us. No matter what happens, he's going to hold our hand all the way. No matter what happens, God is bigger than all of this. And he's going to see us through. I have a large part of me that's aching for the world to return to normal. I bet you have as well. I've got a huge part of me that just wants everything to get back to normal. And of course I do. And of course you do. And actually, of course, it will. But God's promising us something bigger than normal with Jesus. He's promising us life that never ends. Life that's bigger than death itself. And the message of Easter is that when God is with us, he's going to bust down every door. He's going to bust down every negativity. He's going to be with us, and he's going to stay with us through to the end. And that is something that puts a smile on my face. It's something that ignites hope in our hearts. It's something that spells the end of the end itself and promises us with God, life goes on forever.
When our hearts are wintry, grieving or in pain, Jesus' touch can call us back to life again. Fields of our hearts that dead and bare have been, love is come again, like wheat that springs up green.